and then him winning the world championship. How did it feel to have your son?
I know this is kind of going to sound a little funny to you, but it was like, for me anyway, it was like just an affirmation. It wasn't really that exciting or anything. It was more like an affirmation, like we expected it to happen a lot sooner, actually. It just didn't happen until he was 27. It was kind of like, just keep working, keep getting better. Got to get better in the room.
Yeah, we didn't act like it was like this like thing that was some miracle, because like if this is your goal, like you have to. But also, it was good to know when you have a goal that's set for so long and actually accomplish it. I think that was the coolest feeling.
In Serbia too, right?
In Serbia, yeah. Especially like that was the place also where it was like I said, I lost my very first match wrestling at like an age group world title. I was 0-1 and knocked out of the tournament in Serbia. Fast forward, what was that? 10 years later, and then I go in the senior world championship. Yeah, in Serbia. So pretty crazy.
There was a lot of things going on there. You know, Stevan walks around probably at 143, 145 at the biggest. He takes a big cut, you know, but that's not a big cut in wrestling. I know high schoolers that cut 15 pounds, and they act like Stevan cutting at 125 from 145 is a big deal because he's 5'7", you know. But the thing about it is, though, I remember being in that tournament. Stevan made weight. Who did you have first round?
I wrestled Korea, and then the next match I had.
What did you cut that morning of? We cut like 6 pounds?
6.5. Probably 3 kilos, which is like a little under 6.5, 6.6.
We like to do it that way because what we've learned is that.
Yeah, I try to stay hydrated as much as I can.
Eat and drink,
and
then
I like
wake
water
up early.
for my water loading, and then in the morning cut the weight. But still, like, my first match has always been, and I had a Korean guy, so I was actually more nervous for that match, which was by far the easiest match of my 5 matches I had. And I was the most nervous for that match because I was just like, I got to get through my first match. I don't know, like, my training's been really hard. I had a really good training camp before, you know, wrestling matches, and then, you know, with really good wrestlers, a Cuban guy who's a 2-time U23 world champ.
And matches are going back and forth.
Yeah,
I remember one day at training, Stevan goes, man, am I ready for this? Cause he just got clobbered by Ortega, you know, and it was like,
then we go back, he'd win a match, I'd win a match, he'd win a match, I'd win a match. I'm like, man, am I freaking ready for this thing? And, you know, weight cut, I was so nervous for that first match, and then I was like, okay, I'm moving. Wow, I'm moving pretty good blew out my lungs, whatever. Next match, I get the Uzbek guy, Abdullayev. He just took bronze at the Olympic Games in Paris. I think Spencer beat him in the semifinals. So that was my second match. He's a very underrated guy. He's kind of one of those like hot and cold wrestlers, like very, very talented. And on the winning side, you never know what he can do and, you know, put it together. So I was like, dude, I got this guy. I know he almost had Uguyev and Gilman beat back in Tokyo. He can throw together something, but I controlled him. I dominated him. I did awesome. And then I got literally 20 minutes later, I'm starting to feel my arms and legs are starting to get like that lactic.
We got Serbia coming out with bags of ice. He's got 20 minutes to recover, and he's got Uguyev, 2-time
world champ, and Olympic gold medalist in Tokyo.
Up next in 20 minutes, and he's sitting there. He's got ice on his legs, ice on his back, and he's kind of feeling sorry for himself, I could see, but I didn't say anything to him. And then all of a sudden, he says to me, which kind of, I knew he was going to win this thing. Because he looked at me and he's looking at Higuchi's warming up here, Uguyev's warming up there. He's up against the mat, up against the back with ice on him, and he's just kind of stretching out, relaxing, breathing. And he said, "This is where I want to be. I asked for this." And you know, it's these guys that he's got to go through. Abakarov, last year's world champion at 57, Uguyev 61, and then he's like, "What did you end up saying to me? Do you remember?"
No, I was like, "This."
What came into your head? I don't even know.